The title probably threw you off. You probably thought, what do you mean by a stable life? And just let me explain in this video. I want to be very clear on what I mean by that. The first thing that I want to talk about is take life slower, because relaxing your nervous system is a very, very good way to make sure that you stay consistent throughout a longer period of time. What happened to me, and what probably happens to a lot of other people, is they try to go very intense all of a sudden into this new hobby or new interest that they have, and they try to pour all the ounces of energy that they have in it because they think that that's the way to progress faster, right? This culture of work or hustle culture where you have to really grind and you have to commit very very hard to it, 100% of your time and energy into it. But that most of the time is not valuable advice, because you crash into a wall. You're just going way too quick and your body cannot handle that. Your body cannot keep up with that pace. So what happens is you are able to do that for some time, be very consistent, 100% all in, but then your body eventually says, no, stop. We need to put a pause on this, treat your body with respect, and we're going to force you to rest, is basically what your body's telling you. And that manifests in forms of stress, in forms of nervousness, irritability, tiredness, overstimulation for people that are highly sensitive. So, one tip that I noticed for myself that is very helpful for the planning around things that you want to do, or just being consistent for longer periods of time, is to relax and just take life slower. Just today I had a very busy day at work, a lot of things to do, a lot of meetings to do, and then I came home. I still have to do a lot. I had to cook, I had to go to the gym, I have to make this video, all of that on a span of like 3-4 hours, which is manageable. You can do that. But if you already have a long work day um, behind you, then it takes some time to kind of put the energy to the place of like, okay, let me do all these things. So when I came home, I started cooking, but I did it very slowly. I cut the vegetables very slowly, the chicken very slowly, and I noticed that my body was telling me, and this may sound weird because a body can't tell you other than sending you signals through pain and stuff, but I felt my body telling me like, this is the good pace. This is what you can do to sustain all these things that you want to do. So really take it slow, because the faster you do things and the more things you want to do, the more your nervous system is stimulated, which means that you get tired faster. Your energy gets used up faster. So take things slow, do the things how they are supposed to be done, but don't try to rush them, because that will just exhaust you, frankly. And that brings me to the second point, which is realize that you don't have time for everything. This is something I see every week. I tell myself, okay, well, this is what I want to do this week, and then it's a list of all these things that I want to do. It could be like 10 things, or it could be one or two things, but that just take such a big amount of time. And along with staying relaxed and taking things slow, you need to realize that you cannot do everything. You need to be selective, especially if you're a full-time student, or if you have a full-time job like me. Because I'm trying to do a lot of things next to my job, right? I'm trying to do more sports, get into competition for that. I am trying to build my own business, make videos to attract clients for that business, and so on. And so, if you have a lot of interests, passions, and projects that you want to work on, you cannot possibly do everything in one day, even if you have more time than if you had a full time job or if you were a full time student. It's very good mentally to realize that you don't have time for everything, because this will, again, in the first point, relax your body. And relaxing your body is the best way to make sure that you are consistent with the things that you want to work on. So for me, it's very important that I realize, okay, I have this amount of time after my work. I could maybe do this and this. But this other thing that I wanted to do, I will leave it for another day. I will have to be selective with with what I pay attention to and what I devote time and energy on or to. So that realization can already shift a lot of guilt, because I used to feel a lot of guilt for not being able to do certain things that I had in mind for the time block that I set up. So, for example, if I said I will work on this from 7 to 10 after my job, and then eventually I couldn't get to it because something else came up or I had to do something else, I used to feel very guilty and shameful that I didn't spend time on this thing that I said. But this is life. You just have to kind of deal with this and accept that you don't have time for everything. That will make it mentally a lot more sustainable for yourself, and it will relax your body. It will take a bit of stress off the body, which is very important for the long run. The third point is being strict by setting daily rules or daily goals, but be flexible with the modalities of that rule. So, what that means, and this is something that I also apply myself, if I have the goal to work on my physique, that implies that I have to go to the gym so many days per week, depending on the program and your goals and the food you eat. Your program is going to look different, but it implies that you have to go to the gym regularly if you want to achieve that. Momentum is built by doing things close to every day. Now, I'm not saying you have to go to the gym every day, because that would, for most people, be unsustainable. There are some people that do it. For most people, it will be unsustainable. But the daily rule could be something to the degree of, paying attention to your diet, or doing some form of exercise every day, whether it's just walking, running, biking, or going to the gym. You do something every day that helps you towards your goal. And the reason I tell you that as advice is because I've noticed over years of my life, these periods that stand out, always of a few months at a time, where I set daily rules for myself, not weekly rules of like I need to go to the gym 3 times a week, but daily rules, something that I pay attention to every day at least. So the rule that you set to pay attention to something, whether it's a project or a task or whatever, is very important, because that allows you to keep this momentum up. It's very important to keep this momentum up, because if you just divide a goal and you say, okay, well, 3 days a week, it's too easy to say that, for example, if you had planned to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to the gym, and then you skip Monday, it's too easy to say, oh, I will go Tuesday or Wednesday. But then if you go Wednesday, then you have to catch up one day. And now you have to rearrange your planning so that it matches that 3 times per week. So it's always mentally easier and better for you to plan daily rules, something you can pay attention to daily, because this will keep this mental momentum up. It signals to your brain that you have to do this every day, even if it's just a little or a small commitment. And that's why I meant be flexible with the modalities of the rule. If I want to build a business and I'm telling myself I need to work 2 hours on it every day, and that's not manageable, I will burn out. I will at some point not be able to continue with this schedule that I built for myself. So the important thing is set the rule that you will work on your business every day, but be flexible with the time commitment that you set for that task. Instead of, if you had a very busy day at work and you have other things to do in the evening, and it might be unrealistic to commit 2 hours to building your business, don't think, I can't devote 2 hours to this, so it's a failed day. No. Think, okay, well, even if I do 30 to 40 minutes to an hour of this, that is still abiding by my daily rule to spend time on this, which is the most important thing if you want to be consistent and if you want it to be sustainable. So all of these things that I'm saying right now are linked together. Taking things slow, relaxing your body, taking a bit stress off, realizing that you don't have time for everything because you can only do so much in a day. And I don't care about this hustle culture thing that Alex Hormozy kind of leads at this moment, where he I saw a few days ago he posted a video where he said, You don't need to 2x your output, you need to 10x it. That is highly unrealistic advice for most people. So that's something, I might not get into it now, but it's very important that you stay not flexible. That's not what I mean. Don't stay flexible, but treat your projects, your passions, your tasks, your to-do list in a way that fits you and your life. Goals and when you achieve them differ from person to person because we just live other experiences and we have other knowledge, we have other experiences, we have other expertise. It is not one path for every, it's not one same path for every person. So that's why this advice that I'm giving you, don't see it as like the holy grail. I'm just telling you what works for me because I think it's useful. And then be strict by setting daily rules, but be flexible with the modalities. This is probably one of the best tips, this last one, for consistency. Something that I've just experienced over the last few years. But why is that important? And why does that link to living a stable life? If you live a stable life where you have consistent output and input, but also reliable effort and commitment, because doing all of these things make sure that you can be very consistent with the tasks and the things that you do. So that means that your commitment to achieving a goal and the things you have to do to achieve that goal are very reliable and foreseeable. If you're very consistent and if you have built this momentum, it's very easy to foresee that you will have energy to spend on the specific task at that time, that day, because you've built the system that way, that it works for you, that you know yourself. Oh, okay, this time of that day, most likely if I look at the past, I am energized enough or I'm focused enough to work on that time, that day. And so doing all of these things means that you build out this stable system that you can rely on, that is foreseeable to you, that you understand, you know how you set everything up because it is optimized for you and your life. And that's why these tips are so important, because what you want is to work towards a goal. If you fit into this this idea of polymathy, having multiple interests, multiple passions, multiple projects you want to work on, multiple things that you want to learn, that is the most important, because if you have that many things that you want to devote time and energy to, you're going to have to prioritize and you're going to have to find ways to become very consistent and calm and relaxed and focused with all of these things. Like I said in the beginning, if you're very chaotic and you go 100% for like 2 weeks and then you stop for a month and then you try again for 3 weeks, that doesn't give you a reliable path towards your goal. The goal of this advice is to give you the frameworks and the mindset shifts that you need to make achieving your goal as foreseeable as possible or measurable as possible. Because you know, if I do this much output, probably I will achieve my goal by that time. And you can only do that if you're very consistent and if you know what times and what days you have available to work on things with a focused and clear mind. I feel like that is advice that you will not find anywhere. So that's why I thought this advice would be very good. And I say dumb advice, but obviously it's not dumb advice. It's pretty substantial, if I do say so myself, because I've lived this for years. Like, this is what I came to as tips that really worked for me, and that I've tried over years, and that I got results with. So I really hope that's very valuable to you. If you want to learn more about polymathy or what you can do to earn an income with your interests, I would highly recommend that you subscribe and that you check out the links in the description. I don't know what links I will put because I'm busy building out a program for, a mentorship around this. So if that seems interesting, you could always comment if there's no links, because I don't know yet what I will post down there. But yeah, follow along because more advice will come, and I would be happy to help you out. We could just hop on a call and we can see what I can do for you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope it was really valuable, and I'll see you in the next video.